Hi, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today, we're gonna talk about ski etiquette. Now, I had a video talking about ski trends I didn't like, but I had a bunch of comments talking about things people don't like as far as like skier etiquette or trail etiquette. And I realized that like a lot of beginner or intermediate skiers, or even like, you know, people who are experienced skiers, they may not realize they're doing things that are one, unsafe, or two, rude to the rest of the hill. So I'm gonna give you my list of top ways that you can stop skiing like a jerk. Or the nice way to say it is etiquette tips, things that people commonly do that is really rude to the rest of the people around them. And in some of these cases, it's like stuff they may not even realize that they're doing. So obviously there is gonna be a ton of contention on this. There's gonna be a ton of opinions, so leave your comment down below if you think I missed one. What did I get called? There were a bunch of people being like, oh, you're, just being a Karen. Even Steep had a little intro in one of his videos, like calling someone a Karen or something about skiing being dangerous. I don't know if that's directed at me. To quote Kendrick Lamar, if I'm gonna catch a flight, it's gonna be direct. But yeah, I mean, that is such a wild thing for him to say when he had a video seeing how fast he could ski in a straight line, skis wobbling in an area where people, like families ski. And he didn't clear the run, like there's other people there, so. Anyway, you can call me a skiing Karen if you want. I don't care. I think these are things that you could do to be a safer skier and a more considerate skier to the people around you. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. The first thing on the list, if you want to be a less rude skier or something to consider that is really important to people, is where you stop on the hill. I cannot tell you how many times on my local ski hill, people will stop dead in the middle of the trail. They will stop underneath a blind spot. They'll like stop out where like they're right on the edge and it's like very like a heavy traffic area and they're like taking family pictures and doing all this. If you are going to stop, pull to the side of the trail. Stay out of the area, stay out of blind spots, and stay out of areas that are heavily kind of run through. And avoid areas that are blind where people can't see you as they're coming down the hill. You cannot assume that you're the only person there. Even on a slow day, just pull to the side. I see so many people where they'll be in the middle of the trail over a hump and it could be a snowboarder or it could be a skier and they're like adjusting their bindings, checking their phone. It's a really good way to get hurt. So not only is it rude to everyone around you because you're basically taking up the trail for no reason, but also more importantly, it is dangerous to you and the other people skiing. So that's my number one tip for etiquette. If you are going to stop on the trail, pull to the side to a safe area. It seems like common sense, but I see it literally every day I ski. Number two for how to ski less like a jerk and have good ski etiquette is just wait. This is just advice. You see a busy trail, you see that there's nowhere for you to go, you see that, oh man, I keep getting boxed out, this guy keeps cutting me off. Just stop, pull aside, stop like I said in the first one, and just wait. You can just like count to 30 and then everybody will be clear of the trail and you can just have the whole place to yourself. It's such an undervalued or such a slept on piece of advice that people don't take. You're not in a ski race. Just pull aside and wait and so you can make the kind of turns you want and you can get the kind of tracks you want. There's no reason to be like bumping elbows with people. A lot of times if you just wait 10 to 30 seconds, you will get the line that you want. Now, does that totally give everyone else free rein to be rude? No, they shouldn't be like that. But if you have a rude skier or somebody who is cutting you off or being inconsiderate or making really weird turns in front of you, just pull to the side, wait until you have an open line. You don't need to be like the caribou in the Lion King, that one scene. I see it, it's like, man, just wait for the stampede to run its course and then take the hill to yourself. I do it all the time and I would highly recommend that you at least try it. Number three rule for etiquette that most people seem to have forgotten or not realized, the downhill skier has the right of way. They don't have eyes in the back of their head. They cannot see you coming. So assume that they don't see you, and if somebody is downhill, they do have the right of way, and just like account for that. And if you don't want to deal with that, like I said, pull aside and wait so you don't have to deal with an erratic skier. But there's a lot of people that I've seen where they go, oh, well, they turned into me, and it's like, okay, but they can't see you. If they're downhill from you, that's why they have the right of way. That being said, if you're a downhill skier and you are pulled off to the side and you're trying to re-enter the hill, you need to look up the hill. Being downhill from someone doesn't mean that you have carte blanche to, be foolish. If you're gonna re-enter or come really across the hill to make a turn, like let's say you're on the right side of the trail and there's a little like branched off trail onto the left side and you have to cut across a bunch of people to get there, look uphill from you to make sure it's safe to traverse. Seems like common sense, but a lot of people kind of forget that this is, your helmet is not a 360 sphere of all seeing. People cannot see behind them. Sometimes people have headphones and they're not even gonna hear you. Be considerate to the person downhill. Also, this is kind of like a subset of the last one. So, take it for what it's worth, but like a really good way to have good etiquette and avoid getting in a crash, just call out when you're passing someone. It's so easy and no one does it. It's always like everyone's too afraid of like hurting someone's feelings. If you're passing, especially on cat track, say on your left and then give them space and pass them. The thing you have to be careful of when you make that call out is sometimes people hear on your left and they turn left for whatever reason. I can't tell you why. But so if you say that, give them enough room passing on the left too to make a mistake like that. Usually they'll correct it pretty quickly, but something to consider. But yeah, if you see somebody downhill from you, call out, let them know you're coming up on them. It's hard to hear with helmets, it's hard to hear with wind. Let them know, and it's such an easy way to avoid getting hurt. What's the point? Like you know what I mean? You're gonna tear your ACL on the cat track because you didn't wanna, you felt shy about calling out where you were. It's so silly, just call it out. It's a very easy fix. It's a very easy tip to do and implement and will save you a lot of nightmares down the line. And I feel like people appreciate it. They're like, oh, thanks for letting me know. I feel like it just instantly kind of builds rapport with the other person and avoids conflict in general. On the flip side of that, if you are the downhill skier and you are on a cat track or you are somewhere where there's really nowhere else for people to go, make predictable turns if you can. I see all the time where people are kind of making predictable turns on the cat track and you're trying to pass them on the left and then they'll just swing way ahead. And I don't know, I feel like if you have a turn radius and you're kind of keeping to that, either gradually change it or, kind of look up the hill before you come across the hill, but try to be a predictable skier to avoid collisions. Obviously there's some people who are just straight lining it and they have like one snowboard binding buckled in. You can't help that. But most people are not trying to hit you. They're trying to work around and they're trying to time out your turns. So the more predictable you are, the less likely you are to get hit. Especially when I ski with my kids, I have to consider that more because them getting taken out by someone coming down the hill and they're not going as fast is a bigger risk. So I always am trying to keep their radiuses somewhat predictable. So the next one is a lot of just chairlift etiquette. You would think people have ridden the chairlift enough to kind of know, but you still see it all the time. So there's two parts to this one. When you're riding a chairlift, just assume the bar is coming down. In states like Vermont, it's like state law that the bar has to come down. If you go to Europe, the bars automatically come down. It's like, good luck, whatever happens between here and now. And on the West Coast and a lot of mountains just in general, you get such a weird side eye for putting the bar down. And this works both ways. Whenever I put the bar down, try to let people know they have headphones in. Even just being tall, it's really easy to get hit in the helmet. Just say, hey, like, are you cool if I put the bar down? Or however you want to phrase it. But if you're the other person, don't assume that you're not putting the bar up because you don't want to get hit, and it's just, I don't know. It's easy etiquette, and it's something most people should be doing more of anyway. But don't give people a side eye. Oh, we have to put the bar down, or just look for it at least. But the big one of the other two-parter is take your backpack off when you ride the lift. Every time, it's like some dude who's snowboarding who's like, oh, and then we have to stop the lift because the lift attendant will be like, hey, you need to take that off. You need to like take the straps off every single time. We know we have to do this. Why is it so complicated? Also, can I just be honest? Most resort skiers, do you really need a backpack? I mean, I get it, like for doing backcountry or for doing longer days or whatever, but there are people who are running like the beginner trail with a backpack. That makes no sense to me. What do you need? What is that for? It's like when you see people running a 5K and they have like a little water pouch. It's like, you'll be okay for 3 miles. It'll be fine. I mean, I say that, but like, it's so silly. And I get it. Some people need backpacks. I know a lot of people like carry camera equipment, whatever. I don't care if you use the backpack itself, but making everyone else wait while you like shuffle it around begrudgingly and the poor lift attendant's just trying to like implement the rules. Just take your backpack off before you get on the chairlift. It's so easy. Anyway, that's a rant. Where are we even at with this number? This one really is frustrating me. Actually go slow in beginner areas. You can ski anywhere. If you're an advanced, whatever level skier, you can ski anywhere on the hill. You are not limited. Beginners, they can only ski in the beginner area. And especially people who fly through there, they don't have that much control to get out of your way. You're just stressing them out. They're just trying to learn. And especially like there's a lot of kids in that area. People who bomb down beginner areas for no reason, I've seen, like, even at our hill, you have to like go out of your way to get to the beginner area, and still people will tuck into that and go really fast. There's no reason for that. It's really rude for people who are nervous enough trying to learn. It's inconsiderate. You know, I get it sometimes when you're trying to traverse and you're just trying to like get through and there's sticky snow. There's parts of Sun Valley where I'm like, why is this a slow area? But if you have to go out of your way to get to this beginner area and you're just being unsafe about around a bunch of people who don't have as much control as you do, just don't do it. There's no need for it. And, you know, part 2 on that is if you're skiing and somebody's downhill from you and they're a child, give them extra space. Those kids like are trying to figure out as they go. They're much more vulnerable. They're much smaller than you. Give them a wide berth. There's no reason to ride a kid's tail. I had one where my son was learning to like ski and he was beginning to carve on the cat tracks and he's making these little cool slalom turns, and his skis are this small, right? So you're making kind of erratic turns because it's a small radius. And this 50-year-old man comes up behind him and then goes, oh, your son cut me off. I'm like, dude, he's 5, he's downhill from you. What are you talking about? People are nuts. So if you see a kid skiing or you're in a slow beginner area, be considerate, give people wide berth. Again, maybe I am the ski Karen. I don't care. If I'm the ski Karen and one less kid gets hit and injured, then so be it. I don't know. All right, if there's a blind spot or a blind corner or a blind roller, you cannot see where you're about to go. I know it's fun to go over that stuff. I get that it's frustrating. People really, like I said in the first one, should not be parked there. But for your own safety, for their safety, just assume that there's someone there in a blind spot. If you haven't had someone go ahead and look, or you haven't seen it from a different angle where you see it's clear, don't hit blind spots or ski in a way that you assume there's someone there and you could work around them. I know that's a buzzkill. I hate it myself. I like launching over those kind of blind rollers on the Super G Hill. But for longevity of your ski time, or for the health of your knees, for the health of someone else, for concussions, however you want to look at it, you gotta err on the side of like self-preservation or safety. Assume that there's someone there, because in my experience, you know, it might be 1 out of 4 times there's someone there, but man, 1 out of 4 is still way too high. There should not be people there, but just assume that there's someone there. That also goes for like if trails are merging. I know I like some of those little jumps in the trail merging area, and there are places that are safe to do it and places that are not safe to do it. But if you get a blind spot, just assume the worst case scenario, that there is gonna be someone there. It could be a kid even, it could be, you know, somebody who's older. Just assume that someone is in the blind spot and kind of ski according to that. As much as that is a bummer, I think, you know, for self-preservation and for ski etiquette, it's a good rule of thumb. The lodge is not your personal locker. That seems like such an obvious thing, but there's been a ton of times where I've gone to the lodge, people have their stuff all sprawled out over like 3 or 4 different tables, and they're maybe using one of them, or, you know, they're taking their socks and putting it on the cat table or whatever. They're just completely sprawled out, not aware that they're bumping into the people behind them. The lodge is supposed to be a shared space that everyone can use. You know, for a lot of people, if they're taking their kids there, they're trying to get them warm again. I just feel like some people treat it like their private condo or their private chalet or whatever, however you want to phrase it. Don't do that. You know, be considerate to the people around you. There are other people there. It's a shared space. It seems like common sense, but you'd be surprised how many people are really inconsiderate. It's also not, you know, a restaurant where you can just make a mess. I see people where they have like French fries and ketchup everywhere and they just leave it. It's like, dude, nobody's coming to pick that up. You're supposed to pick up after yourself. And I've noticed more and more, like, lodges get, you know, just overrun with crud, and then the next person can't come use it. I feel like if everybody was just a little bit more considerate in the lodge, it would make everyone's life much easier. You know, there's always limited space. I've seen areas where like they have indoor seating and outdoor seating, and someone with like a young child has to go outdoors because there's like 3 middle-aged people just sprawled out on a table. That makes no sense to me. Heck, even share the table, but kids need to get warm. Be considerate to others. I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir. If you're watching this video, you're probably already a pretty considerate skier, but it made the list. This is the last one, and it's a 2-parter, and you could probably break this one into like 8 different numbers. But be considerate in the lift line. Specifically, just be ready to go. If you are going to ride up the chairlift, be ready to go. This isn't a place to kind of socialize and, oh, hey, Jim, how's the golf course? If there's no one there, fine, whatever. But if there's a line of people and they're waiting for you to get done with your conversation, or people will take that time, oh, you know, I think we're going to change the buckles on my boots, and oh, I think I need to change the dins. while in line and we're all waiting for you or trying to work around you. That is so rude. I've also seen it where people are just like not paying attention, not ready to go, and then an empty chair goes up when you are in a long half an hour lift line wait. There's nothing more obnoxious than that. If you are in the lift line, it means that you are ready to go. If you need to make an equipment adjustment, that's fine. Just pull to the side and go do it there. But don't get into line and then make everyone wait because you're kind of trying to get your act together. The other thing, the second part of this that I will say is, be nice to the lifties. It seems like it should go without saying, but I see so many people who are rude to the lifties, where snowboarders will like slap their snowboard and it's like really rude, and the lifty will ask them like, hey, don't do that on my surface, whatever, because they have to rake it and make it safe for everyone. I see people where they're like smoking in front of the lifties and getting into altercations there, where, you know, people mouth off to ski patrol even. Ski patrol and lift operators are there to keep you safe and make sure you have a good time. They're not there to be like the fun police. So giving them a hard time or making their lives harder, they're not paid a ton of money. They're doing it because I don't know why they're doing it. I'm just saying that, like, usually in my experience, on average, ski patrol and lifties are reasonable people that mean well and are trying to help make this fun for everyone, beginners all the way up to advanced. And if you are being rude to them, I don't know, it seems 9 out of 10 times it's probably unnecessary, and you're probably in the wrong if you're being rude to these people. There's always fringe cases, right? Anybody can be unreasonable. But on average, if the lifty is asking you to do something, like take your backpack off before you get on the chair, to not like slam your snowboard because it's really loud for everyone else around you, whatever it might be, there's probably a good reason. And especially ski patrol. I see people all the time like, oh yeah, I like to tuck the ropes, I like to do this. Like, really, the ropes are usually there for your benefit. I don't know, ski patrols and lifties in my experience are very reasonable people, and they're just trying to make sure everyone's safe and having a good time. So anyway, that's my top list for ski etiquette. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure people are gonna say how wrong I am. I'm sure people will have their own. I love hearing it. This is an open conversation, so please leave that down below. If you are currently shopping for ski products right now, I will have a list of affiliate links down in the description. That's how we're able to make this kind of independent content without having to take money from ski brands. So if you like this kind of content, that's where you can support it while you're already shopping without costing you any additional money. If you want to donate and support, you know, it's always appreciated, but not necessary. I will have Ko-Fi and Venmo links down in the description as well. You can like and subscribe, all that stuff. But more than anything, just thanks for being here. Thanks for spending part of your day with me. It means a ton to me that you guys watch this stuff. I am always amazed at how nice everyone is in the comments. I hope you like this kind of content. It's a little different, but I'm always just trying to make stuff that I enjoy watching myself. So that's kind of my barometer of it. And of course, as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.